Morning. I'm going to show you something that you're not supposed to ever do. I'm going to spin around there for it. Never look directly into the sun. That's the sun. That's how smoky it is right now. Washington fires, I guess, but back to the land of grey. I can only faintly smell the smoke. Can't really feel it in my eyes, definitely can't feel it in my throat. But definitely can't see much when I get a view like this. It's just, it's all just grey. It's all smoke. It's not quite the welcome to Washington I was hoping for, but hey, I'm not quite there yet. I've got about probably 23 miles to go, so maybe it'll clear up. Maybe not. It is Tuesday the 14th of August. My phone died last night for some random reason. Went from 50% down to off. So I got to complete those bonus miles after those dickhead campers took up all the space and had to keep hiking. The extra 2.5 bonus miles I did until I finally found a campsite. I had to do without music or anything else too, just to add to it. But that was probably for the best, otherwise I would have kept ranting about hoping they got harassed by a bear all night or something. I suspect it's going to be quite a solitary day today, especially now that I've seen the smoke, because most people don't like hiking in smoke, it appears. So there was some trail magic yesterday, which was 3 days in a row, which is awesome. I'm feeling very spoilt by it. Why is it so dark? It's so dark because it's so dark. This is apparently how dark it is. I started hiking at 5:45, so it must be about 7 now. Something's not right. Let me see if I can play with this. That's better. We'll see if it stays that way or whether it decides to change its mind. I'm really hoping my phone's not starting to play up. It's not even a year old yet. Anyway, what was I saying? Smoke. People don't like hiking smoke. Oh yeah. Well, it's getting darker, isn't it? Maybe it just is that dark. My eyes can see just fine. At Timberline. So I was trying to magic 3 days in a row. That was great. Feeling very spoilt. But when I talked to the trail magic people yesterday, I passed them at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and they said they only had about 8 or 9 hikers come by that day, which is significantly lower than the numbers I would have expected. And I'm starting to wonder if this smoke is the cause, because apparently people have no issue skipping because they can see smoke. Yeah, it ruins the views. It's not ideal, but when I was at Timberline Lodge for breakfast yesterday, there was probably over 30 hikers there for the buffet breakfast. Many had camped just outside, ready to head straight in the morning. I was only just down the way, hiked a couple of miles and got there with an hour to spare. Really nice lodge. It was nice I was there about an hour early, so it was nice just to sit around in some lounges in a big a big lodge lounge with a fireplace that wasn't on. But yeah, to look out the window up at the mountain and enjoy a cup of tea or two just while I waited. Felt very civilized. Actually felt far too nice. A little too classy for me these days. But yeah, there are a lot of hikers there that have skipped a lot of miles, and it shouldn't bother me. Some of them from Ashland all the way up to Bend, which is about 2/3 of Oregon. And the only reason it bothers me is because I see these people posting on social media as they pass things like the 2,000 mile marker, like I did. So the difference is I actually walked 2,000 miles to get there. I didn't skip 100 or 200 or 50 or any. So that's why it shits me. I often relate it back to the union argument. I worked for a lot of union companies, and people who don't like union companies, or some people get annoyed by the fact that everyone gets paid the same, no matter how hard you work. And some people obviously work harder than others. And you see that, absolutely. And that used to never bother me. if I was working harder than someone else but we're getting paid the same, it really didn't bother me, because I worked harder because I wanted to work harder. It makes the day go faster. I feel better about it. Sometimes it needed to be done. Yeah, so sometimes it'd be frustrating, but the difference was I found the people who were just skating by on the union wages, they wouldn't try and claim that they did the work. They would just try and fly under the radar as best they could, and they would never draw attention to themselves. That was their goal, that was their thing. Whatever, fine. But out here, people are telling that people said to everyone, I assume that everyone out here said to their friends and family and on social media and whatever, they're like, hey, I'm gonna go hike the Pacific Crest Trail. All right, cool. So hike it. Don't say you're hiking it when you're skipping sections of it. Yes, it's uncomfortable at times. Yes, it's boring at times. Yes, it's difficult and challenging and any other number of adjectives you want to use to describe it. But that's what it is. That's what you said you were going to do, so do it. If you said you were just going to go and hike on the Pacific Crest Trail for an arbitrary amount of time, not necessarily complete it, not necessarily hike the whole trail, then that's also fine. I got no problem with it. But just don't say that you hiked the whole trail. Don't say you hiked all the way from Mexico to Canada, or from Mexico to the 2,000 mile mark, or from wherever you're going, if you didn't hike all the way there. That's my main gripe. It's usually what's bugging me at the moment, because the closer we get to the finish, the more I see of it, and knowing how many people are just hitchhiking their way up the trail, it just shits me. Some of them are really nice people. Some of them I actually really like. Some of them I don't. It's just, when you see pictures at at any significant milestone, I know I'm going to see it in Washington over the Bridge of the Gods today. So in the next couple of days, I'll be seeing people inundated with it. Everyone's doing their own thing. I get it. No one has to do it my way. This is my way. I'm doing it my way. I should just shut up and accept that my way is my way and not worry about other people doing. Correct, I get that. And I want to feel that way. But there's just something about knowing that when I get to the end of this trail saying, hey, I hiked the Pacific Crest Trail, I connected footsteps all the way from Mexico to Canada. And other people say, hey, I hiked the Pacific Crest Trail. And people assume they hiked the whole trail or connected footsteps the whole way. When really there was potentially hundreds of miles they didn't do because the sky was grey. So there's smoke, so it's uncomfortable. Big deal, get used to it, have some grit. Not everything in life is always comfortable and easy and fun. Sometimes things suck, but you do them anyway because you said you're going to do them. Just have some grit. Do what you said you're going to do. Don't pretend to do something you haven't done. That's what I couldn't. When I say I couldn't live with myself, it's not like I'm going to go jump off a cliff or something, but I couldn't take myself seriously. I couldn't say I'd done it if I hadn't done it, and I haven't done it yet. By the end of this afternoon, I'll be able to say I've connected footsteps all the way to Washington from Mexico, but then I've still got 500 miles to go. I don't care how bad the smoke gets. Still gonna do it, even if I have no views all the way from here to Canada. Even if it would seem like a giant waste of time because I can only see 6 feet in any direction. Still doing it. So anyway, morning rant. Just frustrated. But so I suspect a lot of people have already skipped from Timberline up ahead, because why would they want to hike if they can't see the views? What's the point? Fuck it. I was so close to making it all the way to Washington without ever taking a wrong turn and doing some significant bonus miles. Sure, I'd miss turns and maybe
maybe walked half a kilometre past the junction, but never quite this badly. Just added close to an hour onto my day, unfortunately. I don't quite know how it happened. The trail I'm on, it's very well marked. Well, I mean, the PCT is very well marked. The other trail I found my way onto is equally as well worn and seemingly PCT-like as the PCT. But alas, when I got to a stream to cross and decide to check if that was the last water I was going to have access to, I discovered I was quite a distance off the PCT and I'd come downhill quite a way. So now I have to go back uphill, back to the junction and go the correct way. It's just what you want on town day. Shit. I really didn't need that 15-20 minute climb. I was at almost running speed to get back up. And just down past me here on the tree, we'll walk down there and we'll see what I should have seen before I turned there and continue to switch back down the hill needlessly, because what I should have seen at the junction straight ahead was that pretty little emblem on the tree up there, which you can't see anymore, but I can see it up there. PCT logo. Right there, straight in front of me. Did I see it? No. Did I look for it? No. What did I do? Pulled out my GPS, but yeah, it looks like I turned here. And carried on down the hill for far too long. So now I'm going back downhill again after a nice 20-minute sprint. Well, walk sprint up a steep climb. What a waste of effort. Getting close to civilization and getting close to that mighty bridge of the gods. It's up here somewhere. It's a bit squeezy on this bridge. There's no footpath, but this is the bridge of the gods. This actually reminds me of walking on some of the grid mesh gangways in some of the mines and stuff I've worked at in gas plants, because you do not want to look down, especially if you're like me and you're terrified of heights, because the bottom is see-through. I can see all the way down to the water below and I am terrified of heights and it's a long way down, so just not looking down. Crossed over the bridge of the gods. There it is behind me. Goodbye, Oregon. Hello, Washington. Fifth and final section of the trail. 500 miles to go.